Capital One is getting sued for taking away rewards, how we handle retention offers, and our rankings for all the transferable currencies. All that coming up right now on MTM Travel.
Forgot to talk about the tickets. Tickets to Detroit, baby.
So happy Thursday, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful week. Sun Country and Allegiant merged, meaning we're going to get higher airfare. So if you want to juice up your earnings, why not come join us in Detroit in October?
Yeah, we're having a seminar later on this year, and we opened it up. And when I first came back to Miles to Memories full time, we kind of teased it on the website. We teased it here on the podcast, and we opened it up to Diamond members for a few weeks there. And we told everybody, hey, if you want to get in before the Diamond price goes up, you're pretty much guaranteed a ticket. We do have some slots left. It's limited quantities, but we have some availability, and we're going to open it up to our viewers, our listeners, and our website readers.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to this event, a supplementary event. Of course, we do meetups with our Diamond only, but to kind of open this up, talking about how to take advantage of several offers. Hopefully, people will make money that weekend, but also they get to hang out with us.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun weekend. You get to hang out with us. You get to meet a whole bunch of other travelers, miles and points enthusiasts, which most of the best stuff comes from meeting people, creating friendships, having small group chats, late nights over beers or whatever it be. That's where you get the really juicy details. We'll give you the outline of how to earn miles and points, taking advantage of these apps that are in many states now. We're kind of dancing around it, but you can figure it out. Hopefully you make enough money from these promos that it covers a lot of your ticket costs, maybe all of your ticket costs, but you will also learn a valuable skill that you can use down the road, whether you're traveling, even if you don't live in a state that offers this. You can do it when you're on the road, or maybe even just drive to the next state over. Heck, people have even moved because this is so lucrative at times.
If you're confused, we'll put some links in. You can read about the event. We have social events Friday, Saturday, learning time. It's going to be a lot of fun, a great group of people. And the networking, it's never too late to start. But yeah, we've always found the best information is when you get to meet people in person. But you and I love to have fun, make these events fun. And I think well, especially you, but that will, Mark's more fun than I. That's my way of admitting it.
Well, plus you get to try some world famous Detroit pizza likely. So that's worth the trip right there.
And some Lafayette Coney dogs.
Well, might want to stay away.
Just don't read the health reviews, the inspection.
They taste
reports.
Delicious. Ignore everything else.
All right, so let's talk about this Capital One lawsuit. They are getting sued. So many banks, I think, over the years have gotten sued, and I think it really depends on the actual case and the terms and conditions. But essentially, they are taking away rewards from people who they say use their account in a way that is inconsistent with the way it's supposed to be used, and they kind of take away the rewards, and they're getting sued for it. But again, I think every time we've seen a similar case to this, the exact details have been different. What do you think? I mean, we're obviously not lawyers here.
Capital One's kind of interesting because when they close an account, and some of these people in the lawsuit are saying like, hey, it was fraud on my account, didn't have anything to do with me, but they still shut down the account. And I've heard that happen before. Other times it's people doing increased spending or buying gift cards, things like that, and they get shut down for it if you do it too much or too hard, too fast, all that stuff. Capital One usually just cashes out your points and gives you 50 cents on the dollar. Yeah, other banks like Citi a lot of times will just take all your points and you're left with nothing. Chase is one that did lose a lawsuit several years ago. So they give you 30 days to cash out all your points. They also give you any accrued that are like pending on your statement. So when your statement closes, even if the card's been closed, you get those points as well. And that was because of a lawsuit similar to this. And I think that's what makes this so interesting and why we want this one to be successful is because if they do close their accounts, whether it's because we were doing something that we probably shouldn't have, or if we weren't doing anything at all, we should have rights to those miles and points. We earn them. They still made their interchange fees on them, all that type of stuff. So it's nice with Chase that you know that's the way it's going to work out. Now, the fact that we already have that precedent in place and that the fact that the other people haven't been sued into oblivion, that they give everybody 30 days, just like Chase, is kind of wild to me. So hopefully this is like the start of more of these.
So I was just looking at it, and I think that obviously there have been court cases with all of them. I think the Citi one I was thinking of, and I don't know the results, I can't seem to find what the results was in 2024, a former owner of the Brooklyn Nets had sued them for taking 29 million of his points. Citi, in a lawsuit. My point is, this is happening a lot, and it really comes down to the individual stuff. But if it's a matter of fraud, it sucks. And I also think that once you've earned the points, unless they can prove that you fraudulently earned the points, that they should owe them to you. I don't see why all these years, why this hasn't been settled more black and white.
Yeah, especially if we're getting 1099s when we refer people, like they're starting to put like a dollar value on these tax wise. And they also use these to get discounts on their loans. They use the loyalty programs to sell their business to recoup more money. Like they use this as a currency and then act like it's funny money to us when we still get taxed on it sometimes. It just doesn't make sense. Like, let's just treat this as it is. Like, this is something I own that I've earned that's worth money, and you shouldn't be able to just take it from me. We just need more consumer protections on all of this type of stuff. If I'm giving a company my money or my hard-earned cash, if I'm spending money on their credit cards, I should have some more rights.
And just remember, coming out of the Great Recession, the last big economic collapse, we did have the CFPB formed, and it's essentially been gutted at this point. So there are very few protections within the government for you, and so you have to sue. I mean, it's just unfortunately in this space over the last 10 years, it's been slanted back towards the power of the banks, back towards big corporations, and not as much power in your hands. And wider politics and all this nonsense, we need consumer protections. These banks are too big and powerful, and they are making so much money that they should not be taking people's points like this.
Yeah, well, it's like a drop in the bucket to them.
This episode is brought to you by Queen City Gift Cards. If you're into miles, points, or cashback, you should check out QCGC. It's a buyer's club for miles and points enthusiasts. You buy the cards at a discount, sell to them, and you get to keep all the miles, points, cashback that you earn on your spend.
Yeah, it's a great program that a lot of people in the miles and points world have been using for years now. And this is a great way to increase your spend, maybe earn the next sign up bonus that you couldn't have reached otherwise. Maybe just earn multipliers in the gas and grocery categories. All those types of things. The best part is they find the deals, send them out to you, have one of the best online portals that make this all easy to use, and you can get to the deals quickly, upload all your cards, all the info, get paid out, and move on to the next one.
And if you're new to the space, they have a really cool web portal. They have a Telegram chat, Zoom calls, everything to help you get started with this journey. Scan the QR code, click the link down below, and tell them that we sent you.
And start racking up miles and points.
All right, so let's talk retention offers. You wrote this article about a retention offer you got on the Business Platinum card, and we wanted to have a wider discussion on how we evaluate retention offers. That one I think was 10,000 points after 5,000 in spend, so basically an extra 2x, and it wasn't enough to get you to pay that hefty annual fee.
Yeah, because even with the card earns 1x on most things, or most of the time, unless you're making a 5,000 plus payment on something or purchase, it's just like 3x. Okay, I can get 4x with my Biz Gold and a whole bunch of different categories. I can get 3x on a lot of stuff. It just didn't make sense to me, and that, especially with the increase in the annual fee, I think they made the card worse overall with the refresh and increasing the annual fee. Even if they kept the annual fee the same, I don't know that it would have been any better. So they just, whatever they did with the personal platinum, they made that better. They made it equally as worse on the business platinum. But it's just, I wanted to talk bigger picture. I look at all retention offers, especially from American Express, mainly from American Express, as, does this beat a refer a friend offer? Because if it doesn't, then why would I take it? I'm under Amex pop up. I'm not getting sign up bonuses, so I'm not worried about that type of thing. That if I take a referral offer on a card I've already had, I'm going to end up in pop up jail. I'm already there. And what I'm talking about is, like, if my wife sends me a card link and she gets 25,000 points for me signing up, why would I not close this? Even if I wanted to keep it, why would I not close this and then open up a new one with her link? I don't have to spend anything. She gets 25K instantly, and I have the card I wanted to get anyway. And even then, I can take advantage of like double dipping, triple dipping certain credits. Like if I closed it now and reopened it, I would have my FHR credit, which I already used on the card, but I'd get it now until the end of this biannual year, and then I'd get it again. So I'd get to like a little bit of a double dip there. It's just kind of using the system to your advantage.
And I guess on a wider thing beyond American Express, what should people consider when they're going into a retention call? Well, first you should know what are the rules of retention? Like, for example, with American Express, if you accept an offer and you can't really do much with that card for 12 months, or if you do, they can claw back the offer. And it seems to be very negative as far as the impact on you. Whereas other banks, they don't seem to care. And some banks like Citibank, you can call and get offers on all your cards at once. I've done that with American Express too. But when it comes to value, what are you looking for? I think you got to really sit down with the card first and say, okay, is this a card I want to keep long term? Or to your point, maybe a card that maybe I cancel and I get another version of the same card. But what is the value of this card? And then what do I need in order to get myself over the hump? Sometimes there's cards that you want to keep and you call for the retention offer anyway, just because it's icing on the cake. But for me these days, if it's just like an even wash, I don't know, $100 annual fee, but I'm not using the card, but I can get the $100 waived, then that's probably not worth keeping.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one more thing you have to keep your eyes on, and people can use it fraudulently, and you have to worry about those types of things. So if you're not using the card at all, then you want to close it, even if they give it to you for free. And I've had that happen with like Bank of America. They're like, "Oh, well, we'll waive the annual fee." No, I don't care. I don't want I don't want this thing. Or even if it's a no fee card, well, it's no fee. I don't want to have to manage it. So yeah, we're gonna close it down. And you should also make a point of, if it has no annual fee, you can still get retention offers. People have gotten them on the Blue Business Plus card. People have gotten it on the no fee Hilton card. It's worth reaching out to. Citi's probably the best at doing retention offers, because you can call, and I know you used to write about this all the time. You can call on one card and have them look at all your cards, and they can go through it. It doesn't even have to be when your annual fee posts. It can be any time of the year, and they'll be like, okay, this one has this, that one doesn't have anything. And you can call every couple months and check again. Sometimes cards get 2 or 3 in the same year.
And Amex, you can do basically the same thing, although you can do it on chat too, per person. What I've done with Citi though is my wife has called and we've done all of our cards for both of us on the same call with the same agent, which is just amazing. But with Amex, I have had an agent on chat look at all my cards, or they have to go basically one by one. But yeah, I mean, on some level, you're thinking, well, why would they do that? Because you're trying to say, oh, I'm a canceling customer. So why are you saying you're going to cancel all your cards? It's just because a lot of times the agent has I used to work at a call center, and the retention agents, they had a metric that they had to hit. How many customers did they save? So they want to give you that offer because it shows on their side that they saved you.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't have one, and that's just the case. I find it crazy that they don't have it on a $900 card. Like, you should have some type of offer. This is somebody that has paid you $900 in the past. Getting a new person is going to cost you more than whatever you're going to give them, and it should be at least 20,000 points every year. I don't know why it's not. Maybe that would discount it, but there's so many people that have these cards that don't even know a retention offer is a thing. Don't call. We're a very small subset of card holders that know about these things. And so you'd think that they'd be like, yeah, every account's locked with this. At least give them that, see if they do it. And if it was like 25K, I might have done it. If it was a card I was on the fence about. Business Platinum, I'm not on the fence about. When they got rid of the 35% rebate that works for any business class product, that was like kind of the last straw for me. With this fee increase, they would have had to give me like 50K to keep it.
Come on, we know that the real deal breaker was the Dell downgrade. I mean, I've never seen somebody so upset about losing Dell.
No, the funny thing is, like I said, in the Dell downgrade, in my write up, Dell downgrade was a kind of a nail in the coffin, even though I hate Dell. I've always hated Dell. Terrible customer service. It was so hard to order things just to use the credit. Just trying to order regular things, and they'd be like, "No, you're a reseller." How am I a reseller for trying to buy a one Nintendo Switch? What are you even talking about? So would you jump through those hoops? And somebody commented on the article, like, how can I even listen to someone that says that they hate something? I'm like, would you rather me lie to you and not tell you the truth? I don't understand that.
How could I listen to anybody that doesn't hate Dell? If you like Dell, that you're off my list. You have no basis. Your opinion is not wanted, because that is, I mean, I've been buying from Dell for well over 20 years now, and it is the worst company in e-commerce. And I've ordered from them a lot because of credits, because of other deals. So it's not like I'm never a person that says, oh, they're the worst, I'll never deal with them. And to your point, we're dealing with them, but let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah. I don't know how Dell stays. They must just do really good business selling computers to schools and universities and stuff like that. And their consumer business is just kind of like icing on the cake. They don't care about it that much because it's such a bad setup. Their we all have one of their computers in my family, and we've had half of them break within like 6 to 8 months. It's just rough.
So now the moment we've been waiting for, ranking the transferable currency programs. The six programs we're talking about: Chase, Amex, Citi, Capital One, Bilt, and Wells Fargo. And I have a lot to say. I was kind of surprised. I did some work on this, and my final rankings were a little bit different than I thought going in.
Yeah, when you really sit down and like think about it, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm a bit so shocked. And I really wrestled with a couple of these. Some of them were easy. Other ones were like, all right, where do I put this one here, that one there? And there's different ways you can rank this. And I think a lot of people will just say, all right, if I was given 100,000 points, which points would I want? And I don't think that looks at the full picture. I think how you can earn them, how many credit cards they have, what kind of spending portfolio they have, what earn rates do they give you, referral bonuses, transfer bonuses, all this stuff. I think you have to look at it as a full picture when you're ranking these things. At least that's how I did it versus just, all right, I got these points because it doesn't, if I got 100,000 at this point that I really like, but I can't earn any more, what use is it to me?
Yeah, I did something similar. I kind of tried to look at the overall value of the points, their transfer partners, and then the other perks, the card ecosystem, the earning abilities, all that sort of stuff. Those are sort of the things I looked at. So let's start with number six. What is your least favorite or the least
We have
valuable
to
of the
match on
programs?
this. Capital One, do we match on that?
No, no, I went with Wells Fargo only.
Oh, oh,
Yeah. Wells Fargo doesn't have the partners. They don't have the ecosystem. I mean, if you look at, well, I'll talk about Capital One, but Capital One Venture X, a business, a great card, lounge ecosystem, they fill out sort of the perks with that. And I think that sort of edged them up. I don't have them as high on the list as, well, I don't think anybody has them on that high on the list, but yeah, Wells Fargo number six for me.
yeah, so I have Capital One. I call them flyover points, kind of like flyover states, because all their partners somebody else has, sometimes at better rates. So I use their points like, all right, I'm going to transfer Capital One first because I don't care about them. I'm going to save my other points for other things that are unique. I often use my Capital One points to just do the travel erasure, and they don't really have anything exclusive with their program that other people don't have. So I just kind of find them like the meh points of it. I do think that their venture cards are compelling and useful, but a lot of people have 2x earners. So that's why they're my number six.
Yeah, 2X everywhere I think is good. So that is why Capital One slots in at number five for me. For everything you said, they're certainly not the strongest of the program. But what is your number five?
So I have Wells Fargo number five. This is what I wrestled with, number five or number four. And a lot of that is because Wells Fargo has done a lot of good stuff over the last couple of years. They've, besides Bilt, have probably added the most to their portfolio, I feel like. And they don't have the downside is they don't have a lot of cards. They and they're difficult to get. They're hard to sign up for. But what they do have in their two cards, the autograph and the autograph journey, I think are really compelling earning options, like five times back on hotels, 3x or 4x dining, grocery, gas, all that stuff. Like there's some good rates there. And but really kind of push them up above is they got 2-to-1, the best in class transfer ratio to Wyndham and also to Choice. Now, Citi used to have that to Choice too, one Citi point to 2 Choice points or one Wells Fargo to 2 Choice, but they just nerfed theirs or downgraded it down to 1.5. So these are two of the best that you can get anywhere. So I give them a bit of a perk over Capital One because of that. And they were right up there with my number four, but just the lack of cards and the difficulty of getting their points because of that is what slotted them in at number five.
Yeah, I'm kind of waffling on my number four and three. Well, I guess I could say number four for me is Bilt. I looked at the
Okay.
entire program. I looked at the complications of their cards, the lack of perks, the over couponing of everything required. They do have some good transfer partners like Hyatt, but overall, yeah, I think their transfer partners are good. I mean, I can't say it. Number three would be Citi for me, and I went back and
You're
forth
just
with these.
rolling through them all, huh?
No, because I want to just say how much I like
Yeah.
really struggled with this to say, is Citi thank you better? And I think the one thing that put thank you over the top, something like the Premier card is so good, but also the American Airlines transfers. That was the thing that sort of elevated it above Bilt for me. So you can do your three and four now.
Okay.
You have the floor.
I have number four is Chase, and they continue to lose value. They haven't added anything. I mean, Wyndham was the first ad in several years, and think about all the partners they've lost over the last 5 or 10 years, and they haven't really done anything. They rested on their laurels, which for a time they could. Hyatt, United, Southwest, all were very valuable, and they've all come down to earth. I also think the 524 rule is the worst rule on this list, which makes it more difficult. I still think people should probably start with Chase, or at least focus pretty heavily on them in the beginning, because you can't get them as you progress through. And I don't they have a good array of cards. They have pretty good earnings in certain categories, but they don't have a gas bonus. They don't have a grocery bonus. They're kind of missing out on all this other stuff. And when they brought out 2x on dining with the preferred, everybody thought it was great. Then the reserve 3x. Wow, this is amazing. And they just really haven't. They were like, oh, okay, we're going to stick with that for a while. Haven't moved past it. And they're the only one on this list moving forward. Everything else I have above this has a 2x earning card. Chase doesn't. They have 1.5. I think that's a big miss on their part. They have the worst transfer bonuses of my top four. They don't even give you value on that side of things either.
Yeah, well, you make some good points there. I still number 4. That's a hard thing. What was number 3 for you?
Number 3 was Citi, and like you said, I think American Airlines is a huge get for them. If they didn't have that, it would be a bit lower. I think American Airlines has the best domestic program for miles, and that people could say Alaska, and I would say, okay, yeah, Alaska at times can be better, but I'm talking about like flying their own metal. If you're flying domestically, Americans' prices are better than everybody else's. Alaska flying its own metal, the points are like insane. It's not even worth it. I think they have the best mid-tier card, like you said, with the Premier, and I think Citi has the best 3-card lineup, 3-card wallet. If you're talking, especially if you're talking sub $100 wallet, you got the Premier, you have the double cash for 2x on everything. Then you have the custom cash, which is kind of revolutionary in the 5x earning categories, because each month you just whatever you spend, that's what earns it. You don't have to worry about them picking your categories, stuff like that. I do think the choice devaluation hurts it a little bit when you're not getting the 1 to 2, but you still are getting a 1.5, which is better than everybody else not named Wells Fargo. I do think the one thing Citi's missing, that if they did add, and a lot of people have them, but if they added Aeroplan, I think Citi would bump up maybe to number 2 for me.
They do have Turkish though, which I think is a super big feather in their cap. That gives you, when you can find the availability, it gives you cheap flights to Europe in business class, but also cheap United domestic flights from what, 7,500 each way, something like that. So I think Turkish is something that's overlooked with Citi. I think as people see us unravel this, you'll see that there's just pros and cons to all these programs. But I am shocked that Bilt made your top 2. I mean, I'm not shocked talking to you, but there is just no way in any realm that Chase Ultimate Rewards is not valued as a higher program than Bilt. I am just absolutely shocked by that. Do
Yeah.
it, but for me, number 2 would be Chase Ultimate Rewards. And I went back and forth with this and Amex too, which obviously Amex is my number 1. And the thing that really won out is all the things that you talked about with Chase going in the wrong direction. But I think the ability to earn on certain of their cards, the wider ecosystem, and then some of the perks, which admittedly have been getting worse, kind of made it, it made it valuable enough that it was 2. I think it would have been 1 for me, maybe even last year. And then Amex on the flip side, I'll talk about that a little bit more. But I think the big thing that's juiced up Amex for me is just the ability to earn the points.
Yeah, I had Amex number 2 because that they have the most credit cards by far of anybody out there. They have the biggest bonus. They're the easiest to get approved for, especially after you have one. Like they don't even pull your credit anymore. They have the best earning rates of any cards. So 4x, 3x, grocery, gas. Well, no longer shipping, but they have ability to earn there that the others don't quite get to, I think. The downsides are they don't have a great hotel program. When they're doing transfer bonuses, then yeah, Hilton and Marriott somewhat can be maybe value there. But most of the time, if you were just doing Amex, you're talking airlines, mostly international airlines. The domestic side of things aren't the greatest either. So you're having to deal with partner stuff, which I think is a barrier to entry for some. And they're harder to use at places because not everybody takes Amex. Sometimes they charge you a fee if you use Amex, if you're traveling internationally. So that's what kind of knocked it down from number 1 for me is those types of things. But like overall earn rates and the earning side of thing, by far the best.
Yeah, you're right. And there is no single program, I think, that is like, oh, this is the one program you need. I think a few years ago, people would have said Chase for that because you could have covered your basis with Southwest and Hyatt and some of the other stuff, even if you weren't maximizing your value. But American Express so strong, as you say, on the international airlines, and then the ability to earn the points. And I think that sort of offsets some of the difficulties in not having like a Hyatt, for example. Like, can you imagine if American Express had Hyatt or something like that, or American Airlines, or just one of these like key brands that the other banks have? But they also, they have some very poor value things with like Hilton and other stuff as well. They charge you that excise fee when you transfer to a US, if every time you want to transfer to Delta, you're paying a fee to transfer points. So there's some downsides to that. But I don't think there's just any, like you said, you're in with the bank, you learn the basic rules that Amex has. And if you're just into somebody who likes to earn a lot of miles and points or even cash back, there's just no bank that's more generous in this space. So I still think Ultimate Rewards has better partners and
Yeah.
redemptions probably, but Amex has to be the number one.
Yeah, I think Amex is definitely, as Chase comes down, Amex is getting closer there on the partner side. Plus, they have the best referral program, I think, out there, which is another point for them. All right, so Bilt is number one for me. And that's mainly doing the heavy lifting, as they have the best lineup of partners, in my opinion. So you have Alaska, which is super unique and hard to get. So you have those points. And we said that that might be the best domestic program out there if you're looking at overall program and you're not focusing on flying domestically. Yes, American Airlines, you can find super cheap flights, but that partnership could die at some point. Hyatt, I still think will offer a lot of value out there, just not as much as it used to, and it won't be like the one search every time. Okay, I'm booking Hyatt. Like, yeah, you'll still be able to get 1.5, 1.6 cents, I think, at times. You just have to dig a little bit deeper for it. They have the best rate for all core, which I love. And a lot of this, as you see, like what partners you use, what partners you focus on, that's going to change everybody's list. But all core are the best rates out there. Plus, they have those transfer bonuses at that time. And they added Japan Airlines, which I think is another nice one to have there. And then with the new card launch, if you get the Palladium card, you get the 2x earnings. If you get Bilt Cash for signing up for it, plus you're earning Bilt Cash, you can use that to just buy up to earning 3x, basically up to 25K a year. I think that makes earning Bilt points a lot easier than it used to be. And you can still make them off of rent and all those things if you want to deal with that. I don't. But that's another potential avenue. And I think really the feather in the cap that kind of tipped it up there is their partnership with Rakuten. You can earn Bilt points in massive quantities with Rakuten, especially if you have the Palladium card and you have that status. You don't need to worry about earning it. If you spend a little bit, you're going to earn it anyway. But we talked about signing up for a Bank of America card, getting 30,000 Bilt points, signing up for the Rakuten Amex card, getting 20,000 Bilt points, signing up for all these bank accounts, portals, all like Kraken, to 150, 106 or 16,000 Bilt points. So there you can rack up hundreds of thousands of Bilt points just in Rakuten without even talking about your normal shopping. And then we talk about their transfer bonuses, which are the best by far, up to 100%, especially if you have status and you can buy up now with your Bilt Cash and stuff. I just think that all around, even though the negative is they don't have a ton of cards, you can only get one of their cards. But if you get the right one and it works for you, I think it's the best.
Yeah, I could see that argument. If you're really heavy in the ecosystem and you're wanting to do all of this, we should point out that American Express Membership Rewards has a partnership with Rakuten as well. And to your point, if I had to choose one or the other, I think Bilt points are worth more, as a single point is worth more. So if you're doing all your cash back, and I've earned, I don't know, probably over 1 million Amex points over the years on Rakuten. Just when I was doing reselling and stuff, I don't earn nearly as much anymore, but during the
Million Bilt
holidays,
points
just
would be
crazy.
real nice, though, wouldn't they?
No, I'm saying that. So I just don't think that the program is quite ready to be number one. And I think that I really approach this as if I'm going to tell people what programs and what order would I tell people to go with. And I think the two essential programs really are still Chase and American Express. And I think the third essential program is Citi Thank You, even though most people don't realize that, because that adds so much value. And you have, like you talked about, the 3 card wallet, the Strata Premier, the 3X on that. I just think there's so much value in Citi. And so I don't think you can avoid Chase and Amex. I think Citi is the big number third one that you should get. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I couldn't put Bilt at number one. I don't think it's the program that would be number one for the average person.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. And I looked at it a different way. I looked at it as like, what do I want, or what do I do? And that's why I said it depends on what way you're looking at this, what lens you're looking through. And I could see people, even if I was talking about like, hey, for people, these are the programs that I would focus on. I could see putting Citi above Chase if you are in like an American Airlines hub or something like that. Like I would say, if somebody lives in Dallas, I'd be like, all right, Citi should be your number one. So I think it kind of fine tunes depending on what you use and what you need. But that's what makes the discussion fun. And you could talk to 10 different people. I think they'd have a 10 different orders, 1 through 6 here.
Yeah, I'm glad that we kind of gave some different ideas, that we didn't come up with the same exact listing for that. And I'd
I
love
don't think
for
we
people
matched in
just
any spot, did we?
Mark didn't like how I went through the list. I went through too quickly. For all the people who accused me of being in Bilt's pocket over the years, well, there you
Yeah.
go. They didn't pay me enough, apparently. I really like Bilt. I like everything that they've done. I've been super excited to know some of the behind the scenes. I know that they care a lot about it. They're coming from a very different starting point than anything else on this list. And the fact that they're even on this list, I think, is a huge kudos to them for what they've built, because I think Bilt points have become valuable. The entire ecosystem, adding mortgage payments, it's been a bit of a slog to get here, but the future is bright for them. And I could see them being number one on my list at some point.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I maybe put into this too is like who's willing to do more or put in more work or who's willing to bump up. It seems like right now Wells Fargo and Bilt are the two that are making moves. Maybe a little bit of Citi, but it took Citi like a decade to get American Airlines. I don't know that they're going to do much more from there. So I would say Bilt and Wells Fargo seem like the
They'll be
two that
high
are
fiving for the next 5
most,
years over
yeah,
that one thing.
I think those are the two that are most likely to do something. But I do think Citi should be knocking on Aeroplan's door. Wells Fargo too. I mean, everybody else has them. Why don't the two of you have them? It's not like they're being like, oh, well, Chase is just my card, so I only go with Chase. No, you're kind of everywhere. So you should be knocking down that door, trying to get a little bit more value.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about today. Leave your rankings for the best program down below. Also, your tips on retention offers. How do you handle them? How do you evaluate them? Suing Capital One, leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week. Tuesday, we'll be back with all of our travel and fun stuff. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody. And please agree with me. Capital One's the worst. I don't know how Sean doesn't have it 6. That's the one that upsets me the most.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your